life. Adam starts alone, finds love, and dies happy.
Drag Adam's head on the first picture. Again on the second picture and Eve's as well. Then put his head on the third picture, on the tombstone.
Eve dies heartbroken.
Drag the love scene in the first rectangle, then the death scene in the next two. In the first add both Adam and Eve. In the second put Adam on the tombstone, and Eve in front of it. Then in the third, put Eve on the tombstone to finish the story.
Seeing the ghost of a lover.
Drag the love scene in the first and last scenes, the death scene in the second scene. Drag Adam and Eve in the first scene. Drag Adam on the tombstone and Eve in front of it in the second scene. Then drag Eve in the third scene, crying after Adam, and Adam in front of her, as a ghost.
Heartbreak with a happy ending.
Drag the love scene in the top left corner, and the death next to it, on the right. The revive scene on the bottom left corner and the love next to it. Put Adam and Eve in the first love scene. Put Adam on the tombstone and Eve in front of it, in the second scene. Put Adam in the third scene to be revived. Then Eve and Adam in the last love scene to get the happy end.
Broken hearts. A heartbreak is healed.
Set the wedding scene in the first and last scene, and the death one in the middle. Set Edgar and Isabel in the first scene to get married. Set Isabel on the tombstone and Edgar in front of it, in the second scene. Set Edgar and Lenora in the last scene, to get him married again. And it is also necessary additional, to finalize the plot, no deaths that time, for this you need, now, leave the first scene as it is. Then, change the middle scene to a wedding again, and, further, set Edgar and Bernard in the middle. Then, Bernard and Lenora in the last scene to get them married.
Rejected by own spouse.
Wedding goes in the first, third, and fourth scene, and amnesia in the second. Marry Edgar with Isabel in the first. Then give Isabel amnesia in the second. Marry Isabel and Lenora in the third scene. Set Isabel and Edgar in the last scene, where Isabel rejects Edgar because she doesn't remember him.
Everyone rejects Edgar.
Put the wedding into the first, second, third, fifth and sixth scene. Put the death in the fourth scene. Marry Isabel and Bernard in the first scene. Set Edgar and Isabel in the second scene, so Isabel rejects him. Set Edgar and Bernard in the third scene, so Bernard rejects him. Set Isabel on the tombstone and Bernard in front of it, in the fourth scene. Set Bernard and Leonore in the fifth scene to get married. Set Leonore and Edgar in the sixth scene so Leonore rejects Edgar.
Surviving spouses find comfort.
Set the wedding in the first, second, and fifth scene. Set the death in third and fourth. Marry Isabel with Bernard and Lenora with Edgar in the first and second scene. Put Bernard on the first tombstone, and Isabel in front of it. Put Edgar on the second tombstone, and Lenora in front of it. Marry Lenora with Isabel in the last scene.
Apparition. Edgar shocks himself.
With the same protagonists as the chapter before this, it seems that this one is focused on soulmates and life after death. Put the scenes in this order: death, amnesia, mirror. Put him in each scene in that order. Seeing himself as a ghost in a mirror will definitely be shocking.
Heartbroken spouses are reunited.
First scene, and. Last are the wedding, then second, and. Fourth are the death, third, and. Fifth are the revive scenes. Now get Edgar. And. Lenora married in the first scene. Put Edgar on the tombstone. And. Lenora in front crying. Revive Edgar in the third scene. Put Lenora on the tombstone. And Edgar in front crying. Revive Lenora in the fifth. And make them meet in the sixth wedding scene. New goal. In the afterlife, the first four scenes remain the same. Get Edgar and Lenora married in the first scene. Put Edgar on the tombstone and Lenora in front crying. Revive Edgar in the third scene. Put Lenora on the tombstone and Edgar in front crying. Switch the fifth revive scene with a death scene and put Edgar on the tombstone. The last scene is the wedding one with Edgar and Lenora as ghosts.
Heartbreak for everyone.
Wedding goes in first and third scene. Death goes in second, fourth, and sixth scene. Revive goes in the fifth scene. Marry Edgar and Lenora in the first scene. Put Edgar on the tombstone and Lenora in front. Marry Lenora and Bernard in the third scene. Put Lenora on the tombstone and Bernard in front of it. Revive Edgar in the fifth scene. Put Lenora on the tombstone and Edgar in front of it.
Old sad dog dies happy.
Scene 1 and 5 are going to be love scenes. Scene 2 and 6 are death scenes. Scene 3 is time, and Scene 4 is revive. Set Edgar and the dog in Scene 1 to meet and fall in love. Put Edgar on the tombstone in Scene 2, and the dog in front crying. The time scene remains untouched as time passes. Revive Edgar in Scene 4 and reunite him and the old dog in Scene 5. Put the now happy dog on the tombstone in Scene 6.
The cellar. Lenora drinks poison.
This chapter looks more like a Romeo and Juliet kind of story. The heartbreak causing the characters to take certain irreversible measures. You'll become the new Shakespeare by the end of it. First scene is the wedding, and the next is death, while the last is the poison. Marry Lenora with Edgar in the first. Put Edgar on the tombstone and Lenora in front. Give Lenora the poison.
Double poison.
The wedding is only in the first scene. It is followed by the death scene, then the poison, the fourth is revive, the fifth is death, and the last is poison again. Put Edgar and Lenora in the first to get married. Kill Edgar and put his face on the tombstone, while Lenora is heartbroken there. Give Lenora the poison in the third, then revive Edgar in the fourth. Take Edgar to Lenora's grave and then take him to the last scene and give him the poison.
Isabel is haunted by her husband.
First scene has a wedding background where Edgar and Isabel are getting married. Second scene has the fight of Edgar and Isabel. Third is the poison where Isabel gets some poison for her husband. Fourth is the wine where Edgar will drink the glass of poison Isabel made for him. And last one, the fifth scene, is a fight between Isabel and Edgar's ghost.
Double poison.
New goal. Someone drinks poison twice. Keep the first 3 scenes in place. Edgar and Lenora in the first scene will get married. Edgar dead on the tombstone, while Lenora is heartbroken. Give Lenora the poison in the third. Now revive Lenora in the fourth. Take her to see Edgar's tombstone again, to which she'll be sad again. And give her the poison in the last scene again.
Murder of jealousy.
First scene, Edgar and Lenora with a wedding background. Second scene, Edgar and Isabel with a wedding background and an angry Isabel. Third scene, Isabel getting some poison. Fourth scene, Lenora having a glass of wine that's actually Isabel's poison. New goal. But everyone meets their demise, the 4 scenes remain untouched. Fifth scene is Edgar drinking his own poison because Lenora is dead. Sixth scene is Isabel drinking her own poison because Edgar is dead.
Beauty. Which becomes the mirror's favorite?
This is one of the most jealousy-focused chapters, and it comes with a lot of plots and twists you need to figure out, as you immerse yourself in these Brother Grimm-like stories. First scene. The witch in the mirror testing her beauty again as she goes to the mirror. Not that Snowy is a frog.
Curse is lifted.
First scene, kiss scene between the prince and the witch. Second scene, forest background with the witch angry at the prince, turning him into a frog. Third scene, the frog prince tells Snowy that he's a prince in the forest. Fourth scene, Snowy kisses the prince in the kissing background.
A kiss and a curse.
First scene, the witch transforms into a beautiful woman using the cauldron. Second scene, the witch kisses the prince in the kiss scene. Third scene, the witch transforms into an old lady using the cauldron. Fourth scene, the ugly witch tries to kiss the prince in the kissing scene, but he doesn't like her. Fifth scene, the ugly witch goes after the prince in the forest and transforms him into a frog.
Tiny gets a kiss.
First scene, the witch sees that Snowy is more beautiful when asking the mirror. Second scene, the witch goes after Snowy in the forest to turn her into a frog. Third scene, Tiny finds the frog, Snowy, in the forest. Fourth scene, Tiny kisses the frog, Snowy, in the kiss scene, turning her back into Snowy. New goal. Ungrateful maiden. All other scenes remain the same. Fifth scene. In the forest, Tiny loves Snowy, but Snowy doesn't love Tiny. Sixth scene. In the kiss scene, Tiny wants to kiss Snowy, but Snowy declines. New goal. Prince saves Tiny. First scene. Kiss scene of the witch with Tiny, he refuses. Second scene. Forest scene with the witch turning Tiny into a frog. Third scene. Witch seeing mirror likes Snowy more than her. Fourth scene. Forest scene with the witch turning Snowy into a frog. Fifth scene. In the forest the prince finds the snowy frog. Sixth scene. The kiss scene of the prince kissing Tiny Frog, thinking it was Snowy. Wrapping up, the storytelling doesn't end here, and there are a lot more to go to turn you into the best storyteller out there. This Netflix game is fun and easy to play. If you like telling stories, I'm sure you're having as much fun as I am playing it. I'm going to write more walkthroughs for the next few chapters of Storyteller game. So buckle up and enjoy our adventure into the storytelling world. I'll be back soon with Storyteller Chapter 6, The Manor Walkthrough.
The Manor. Butler's Rampage.
It's not easy being a storyteller, so here I am giving you a hand. Follow this walkthrough for Storyteller Chapter 6, The Manor, to finish up another intriguing story.
This will be a story about the murder of the Duke and Duchess, and the murderer is none other than the butler. He probably got enough of their superior attitude towards him and decided to get revenge. First scene. The butler finds the gun. Second scene. Goes to the ballroom to kill the Duke. Third scene. Still at the ballroom to kill the Duchess.
Duke feels relief.
First scene. The butler finds the gun and takes it. Second scene. The Duke discovers the gun vanished. Third scene. The butler puts back the gun. Fourth scene. The Duke sees the gun is back, so he feels relief.
Murderer is arrested.
First scene. Butler finds the gun and takes it. Second scene. Butler goes to the ballroom to kill the Duke. Third scene. Butler feels remorse. Fourth scene. Butler turns himself into the detective at the ballroom.
Someone gets arrested.
First scene. Butler finds and takes the gun. Second scene. Butler kills the Duchess in the ballroom. Third scene. Butler puts the gun back. Fourth scene. The detective looks for prints on the gun and finds the butler's fingerprints. Fifth scene. The detective catches the butler in the ballroom and arrests him. New goal. Someone gets arrested. First scene. Butler finds and takes the gun. Second scene. Butler kills the Duchess in the ballroom. Third scene. Butler puts the gun back. Fourth scene. The Duke goes to the gun and touches it. Fifth scene. The detective checks the gun for fingerprints and finds Duke's. Sixth scene. The detective arrests the innocent Duke for murdering his wife.
Crown intrigue. 4 deaths.
It's time for some high-class drama and plot twists as we wander through the fantasy world of kings and queens and usurpers. First scene. On the cliff, it's the Baron behind the knight, pushing the knight off. Second scene. The knight is revived. Third scene. The knight pushes the Baron off the cliff. Fourth scene. The Baron is revived. Fifth scene. The Baron pushes the knight off the cliff again. Sixth scene. The knight's ghost pushes the Baron off the cliff.
The Queen is rescued.
First scene. The Baron kidnaps the Queen. Second scene. The knight saves the Queen, releasing her. New goal. Revenge. First scene. The Baron kidnaps the Queen. Second scene. The knight saves the Queen, releasing her. Third scene. The knight kidnaps the Baron. New goal. And married. First scene. The Baron kidnaps the Queen. Second scene. The knight saves the Queen, releasing her. Third scene. The Queen marries the knight and they have a wedding.
Everyone sits on the throne.
First scene. The Queen is on the throne. Second scene. The Baron pushes the Queen off a cliff. Third scene. The Baron sits on the throne. Fourth scene. The Queen's ghost scares Baron to jump off a cliff. Fifth scene. The knight sits on the throne.
Usurper is forgiven.
First scene. The dog kidnaps the Queen. Second scene. The dog takes her place on the throne. Third scene. The dog releases the Queen from the cage. Fourth scene. The Queen puts the dog in the cage. Fifth scene. The Queen takes her place back on the throne. Sixth scene. The Queen releases the dog from its cage.
The Queen marries.
First scene. The Baron disguises as a dragon. Second scene. The dragon Baron kidnaps the Queen. Third scene. The Baron takes his disguise off. Fourth scene. The Baron frees the Queen. Fifth scene. The Queen marries the Baron and they have a wedding.
Everyone wants to be a queen, or king, and some don't give up until they become just that, no matter what it takes. Meet me in my next walkthrough to Storyteller Chapter 8 Secrets to uncover more secrets as some greedy characters take matters in their own hands.
I'll unravel all the secrets for Storyteller Chapter 8 in this walkthrough. I'll guide you through all the stories so everyone gets a happy or not so happy end. When you're so high on the social ladder, your life is in more danger than regular people. As you could see in my last walkthrough for Storyteller Chapter 7 Crown Intrigue, this chapter will show how dangerous it is to be high class. Another high class drama filled with hate, vengeance and love crimes. Storyteller Chapter 8 Secrets is just that, filled with secrets and spies.
Secrets. Murderer gets arrested.
First scene. Butler takes the gun. Second scene. The detective is witnessing. Third scene. Butler kills the Duke in the ballroom as the detective sees it. Fourth scene. The detective arrests the butler in the ballroom.
Butler gets fired.
First scene. The Duke is watching the ballroom witness. Second scene. The butler takes the gun. Third scene. The butler goes to the ballroom and the Duke sees him with a gun. Fourth scene. The butler puts the gun back. Fifth scene. The Duke meets the butler in the ballroom and fires him.
Spouse gets vengeance.
First scene. The Duke watches the ballroom witness. Second scene. The butler takes the gun. Third scene. The butler kills the Duchess in the ballroom, and the Duke sees it. Fourth scene. The butler puts the gun back. Fifth scene. The Duke takes the gun. Sixth scene. The Duke kills the butler in the ballroom.
Duchess gets murderer arrested.
Second scene. Butler takes the gun. First scene. Duchess watches the ballroom witness. Third scene. Butler kills the Duke and the Duchess sees it. Fourth scene. The Duchess tells the detective in the ballroom about what she saw. Fifth scene. The detective arrests the butler in the ballroom. New goal. But the Duke isn't home. First scene. Duchess watches the ballroom witness. Second scene. Butler takes the gun. Third scene. Butler goes to the ballroom, but no one is there. Duchess sees him with a gun. Fourth scene. The Duchess tells the detective in the ballroom about what she saw. Fifth scene. The butler kills the Duchess in the ballroom. Sixth scene. The detective arrests the butler in the ballroom. Conclusion. You should always suspect the butler for the murder, it seems. Spying to get your evidence sometimes has a price. In my next walkthrough of Storyteller Chapter 9 Justice, I'm sure we'll find that everyone pays the price of their actions.
Justice. Usurper dies.
Being a queen is not easy when everyone want either your hand in marriage or your crown. But the queen in our story will not let any man take advantage of her, and she'll make her own justice, one way or another. First scene. The Baron kidnaps the queen. Second scene. The Baron takes the throne. Third scene. The knight frees the queen. Fourth scene. The queen kidnaps the Baron. Fifth scene. The queen takes the throne. Sixth scene. The queen executes the Baron. New goal. By the hand of the knight. First scene. The Baron kidnaps the queen. Second scene. The Baron takes the throne. Third scene. The Baron executes the queen. Fourth scene. The knight kidnaps the Baron. Fifth scene. The knight takes the throne. Sixth scene. The knight executes the Baron.
Knight loses his head.
First scene. The knight mourns his queen at her grave. Second scene. Knight takes the throne. Third scene. The queen is revived. Fourth scene. The queen kidnaps the knight. Fifth scene. The queen takes her throne back. Sixth scene. The queen executes the knight.
The execution.
First scene. The Baron kidnaps the queen. Second scene. The Baron has amnesia. Third scene. The Baron frees the queen. Fourth scene. The queen executes the Baron. New goal of the Baron. Second scene. The queen has amnesia. First scene. Baron kidnaps the queen. Third scene. The Baron frees the queen. Fourth scene. The queen marries the Baron. Fifth scene. The Baron King executes the Queen.
Queen suffers 4 tragedies.
First scene. The Baron kidnaps the Queen. Second scene. The knight saves the Queen. Third scene. The Queen takes her spot on the throne. Fourth scene. The Queen marries the knight. Fifth scene. The Baron kills the knight off the cliff. Sixth scene. The Baron kills the Queen off the cliff.
Queen beheads all men.
First scene. The Baron pushes the Queen off the cliff. Second scene. The knight takes the throne. Third scene. The Queen is revived. Fourth scene. The Queen marries the knight. Fifth scene. The Queen executes the Baron. Sixth scene. The Queen executes the knight. Wrapping up, we've seen in this walkthrough of Storyteller Chapter 9 just how the Queen doesn't have an easy life.
Genesis.
In today's chapter we'll meet Adam and Eve again and find new plots for their stories, so follow me to make sure you get them right. First scene. Adam is dead under his tombstone. Second scene. Adam is a ghost during the day. Third scene. Adam is dead under his tombstone. Fourth scene. Adam is a ghost during the day. Fifth scene. Adam is dead under his tombstone. Sixth scene. Adam revives.
Eve rejects apple.
First scene. Adam is tempted by the snake to eat the apple. Second scene. Eve sees Adam being judged for eating the apple. Third scene. Eve refuses to be tempted to eat the apple.
God is happy at everyone.
First scene. Adam is tempted and bites from the apple. Second scene. Adam is judged harshly and Eve sees it. Third scene. Adam is revived. Fourth scene. Adam is not tempted to bite from the apple anymore. Fifth scene. Eve is not tempted to bite from the apple. Sixth scene. Judgment Day sees no one took a bite and God is happy.
Adam watches his love die.
First scene. Adam and Eve are in love. Second scene. Eve is tempted and bites from the apple. Third scene. Eve is judged and Adam sees it. New goal. Because of him. First scene. Adam and Eve are in love. Second scene. Adam is tempted and bites the apple. Third scene. Adam tempts Eve with an apple. Fourth scene. Adam is judged without Eve there. Fifth scene. Adam is revived. Sixth scene. Adam sees Eve being judged by taking a bite because he tempted her.
Friedrich takes revenge.
First scene. Friedrich loves Eve. Second scene. Eve is tempted and bites the apple. Third scene. Eve is judged and Friedrich sees this. Fourth scene. Friedrich takes a gun. Fifth scene. Friedrich shoots the apple in the temptation scene. Sixth scene. Friedrich shoots the judging eye. Wrapping up, This was a huge jump back from Queens and Thrones to Adam and Eve, but I'm sure going forward we'll still have interesting stories to help write. Come back here to check out my new walkthrough for the next episode of Storyteller Chapter 11 The King, as we'll go back to the high-class drama we've encountered so many times.
The king.
The king's affair can get people beheaded.
Cyclic, mutually toxic love affair.
Let's see how drama is once more getting royalty lives in danger. First scene, the king and the queen love each other. Second scene, the king and the queen are having a fight. Third scene, the queen gets amnesia. Fourth scene, the king gets amnesia. Fifth scene, the king and the queen love each other. Sixth scene, the king and the queen are having a fight.
Double execution.
First scene, the queen sees the affair between the king and the maid. Second scene, the queen executes the king. Third scene, the queen executes the maid. New goal, where the king takes revenge. First scene, the queen sees the affair between the king and the maid. Second scene, the queen executes the maid. Third scene, the king executes the queen to revenge the maid's death.
Three heads roll.
First scene, the Baron kidnaps the queen. Second scene, the knight saves the queen. Third scene, the queen executes the Baron. Fourth scene, the king sees the queen having an affair with the knight. Fifth scene, the king executes the knight. Sixth scene, the queen executes the king.
Rags to royalty.
First scene, the queen sees the affair between the king and the maid. Second scene, the queen kidnaps the maid. Third scene, the king saves the maid. Fourth scene, the king executes the queen. Fifth scene, the king marries the maid.
Baron rules alone.
First scene, the Baron kills the queen off the cliff. Second scene, the king marries the maid. Third scene, the Baron kills the king off the cliff. Fourth scene, the Baron marries the maid. Fifth scene, the Baron kills the maid off the cliff. Wrapping up, these plot twists got more intriguing in this chapter of Storyteller the King. Having an affair always got people in trouble, but this time the crown was at stake again. Keep a close eye for my next article for Storyteller Chapter 12 Monsters Walkthrough to wander off a fantasy land with fantasy creatures and stories.
Monsters.
Welcome to my channel, friends. There are monsters everywhere. Even if not all are fantasy, people can be monsters too, but everyone will get what they deserve.
Bernard drinks poison.
First scene, Bernard falls in love with Juliet in the forest. Second scene. Bernard sees the full moon and turns into an werewolf. Third scene. Werewolf Bernard attacks Juliet in the forest. Fourth scene. Bernard changes back as the full moon is over. Fifth scene. Bernard sees Juliet's body in the forest. Sixth scene. Bernard drinks poison.
Pet comes back to life to enact revenge.
First scene. The dog sees Bernard having an affair with Isabel. Second scene. Isabel sees Bernard having an affair with the dog. Third scene. Isabel pushes the dog off the cliff. Fourth scene. The dog gets revived. Fifth scene. The dog scares Isabel off the cliff.
Queen gets Baron arrested.
First scene. The Baron disguises as a dragon. Second scene. The dragon Baron scares the Queen in the ballroom. Third scene. The Queen tells the detective about the dragon in the ballroom. Fourth scene. The Baron puts his disguise back. Fifth scene. The detective investigates the disguise and finds the Baron's prints. Sixth scene. The detective arrests the Baron in the ballroom.
Cured of vampirism.
First scene. Dracula bites Mina during the night. Second scene. The professor wants to help Mina when he sees she's a vampire. Third scene. The professor tells John how he can kill Dracula. Fourth scene. John goes at the crypt and kills Dracula with a stake. Fifth scene. When the night comes, Mina is cured.
Monster is slain.
First scene. Baron disguises into a dragon. Second scene. Dragon Baron scares Bernard in the forest. Third scene. Bernard goes to the professor and he gives him a gun to kill the dragon. Fourth scene. Bernard goes in the forest and kills the dragon Baron. New goal. Werewolf dies. First scene. Baron disguises into a dragon. Second scene. Bernard changes into a werewolf at the full moon. Third scene. The dragon Baron meets the werewolf Bernard into the forest. Fourth scene. The dragon Baron takes his disguise off. Fifth scene. The Baron goes to the professor and he tells him how to kill the werewolf. Sixth scene. The Baron goes into the forest and shoots the werewolf Bernard.
Drama. The Mirror praises everyone.
No one does drama better than Shakespeare, so today you're going to match that and play with some dwarven characters making your own drama.
First scene. Haiti asks the mirror and it says Peachy is the most beautiful. Second scene. Haiti pushes Peachy off the cliff. Third scene. Haiti asks the mirror and it says he is the most beautiful. Fourth scene. Ghost Peachy scares Haiti off the cliff. Fifth scene. The frog asks the mirror and it says he is the most beautiful.
Haiti murders father and marries mother.
First scene. Tiny tells Haiti he is his father, family scene. Second scene. Tiny marries Peachy, wedding scene. Third scene. Haiti tries to marry Peachy but she refuses because she loves Tiny, wedding scene. Fourth scene. Haiti pushes Tiny off the cliff. Fifth scene. Haiti marries Peachy, wedding scene. Sixth scene. Peachy tells Haiti she's his mother, family scene.
Tiny murders brother to avenge his father.
First scene. Greenie tells Haiti he is his father, family scene. Second scene. Greenie has a fight with Haiti. Third scene. Greenie tells Tiny he is his father, family scene. Fourth scene. Haiti pushes Greenie off the cliff. Fifth scene. Tiny talks with Greenie's ghost and he tells him Haiti killed him, seance scene. Sixth scene. Tiny pushes Haiti off the cliff.
Haiti is murdered by his daughter.
First scene. Haiti tells Peachy he is her father. Second scene. Haiti and Bluey have an affair. Third scene. Peachy and Bluey have an affair and Haiti sees it. Fourth scene. Haiti pushes Bluey off the cliff. Fifth scene. Peachy talks with Bluey's ghost and he tells her her father killed him, seance scene. Sixth scene. Peachy pushes Haiti off the cliff. New goal, but he was just protecting her. First scene. Haiti tells Peachy he is her father. Second scene. Peachy and Bluey have an affair and Haiti sees it. Third scene. Tiny and Bluey have an affair and Haiti sees it. Fourth scene. Haiti pushes Bluey off the cliff. Fifth scene. Peachy talks with Bluey's ghost and he tells her her father killed him, seance scene. 6th scene. Peachy pushes Haiti off the cliff. All 6 scenes. Tiny and Haiti wait.
Tiny and Haiti wait forever.
New goal. Both leave and return. 1st scene. Tiny and Haiti wait. 2nd scene. The wait scene is empty, with no Tiny or Haiti. The rest of the scenes. Tiny and Haiti wait.
Novels.
Welcome to my channel, friends. Onlyer. This will not be like the regular chapters you're used to, but you'll have a chance to build up a more in-depth story for each title.
Edgar murders his wife.
1st scene. Edgar marries Lenora. 2nd scene. Isabel likes Edgar and he refuses to marry her. 3rd scene. Isabel makes some poison to get revenge. 4th scene. Lenora drinks the poison thinking it's wine. 5th scene. Edgar marries Isabel. 6th scene. Edgar talks to Lenora's ghost seance scene, and she tells him Isabel killed her. 7th scene. Edgar makes poison to avenge the death of his first wife. 8th scene. Isabel drinks the poison wine.
Duke shoots detective to avoid prison.
1st scene. The Duke witnesses the ballroom. 2nd scene. The Duchess tells the king she loves him in the ballroom. 3rd scene. The Duke goes to get the gun. 4th scene. The Duchess witnesses the ballroom. 5th scene. The Duke kills the king in the ballroom. 6th scene. The Duke witnesses the ballroom. 7th scene. The Duchess tells the detective about what she saw in the ballroom. 8th scene. The Duke kills the detective in the ballroom.
Unfaithful husband punished.
1st scene. The witch marries the prince. 2nd scene. The mirror tells the witch that Snowy is more beautiful. 3rd scene. The witch turns back into the old lady, cauldron scene. 4th scene. The witch transforms Snowy into a frog in the forest. Fifth scene. The prince sees Frog Snowy in the forest. 6th scene. The prince kisses Snowy to turn her back into a girl. 7th scene. The mirror tells the witch that Snowy is still more beautiful, which means the prince kissed Snowy. 8th scene. The witch transforms the prince into a frog in the forest.
Knight and maid murder the monarchs and have an affair.
First scene. The king and maid have an affair and the knight sees them. Second scene. The king and maid have an affair and the queen sees them. Third scene. The knight pushes the king off the cliff. Fourth scene. The queen kidnaps the maid. Fifth scene. The knight releases the maid. Sixth scene. The maid pushes the queen off the cliff. Seventh scene. The maid and the knight will have an affair. Wrapping up. Every chapter has been a challenge and you manage them all. But it doesn't seem like the end to me. They'll add 11 new twists throughout the chapters. Make sure to check out my next walkthrough for Storyteller the Ceremony, where they'll add a few devil twists to the chapters you already solved. Have fun with the new titles that come with them. As we get closer and closer to the end, my walkthrough for Storyteller's final chapter novel seems to come here right on time. Each title is much longer than you've seen in my last walkthrough for Storyteller Chapter 13 Drama, and probably why it is called novels. Thanks for viewing, friends. Please find the time for subscribe to my channel. Onlyer. See you next video.
Thanks for viewing, friends. Please find the time for subscribe to my channel. Onlyer.